Previously on Balls.
Rob, how's it going, bud?
Yeah, it's going pretty good.
Making us seasick there.
Actually.
Welcome to Balls Radio once again. Sorry we didn't catch up with you on Friday, just a timing issue, but glad to be able to catch up with you today because lots has happened, especially over the weekend. Let's first of all get straight to the whole carpet tax stuff. What the hell's going on?
Wow, it's actually it's a good question, but I mean, it's not something that you want to be having a bike race. Obviously, there's a lot of chaos and a lot of problems with riders and stuff. But I'm kind of getting to someone who's going out to be stupid, have a bit of fun, or whatever. I mean, a friend of mine said to me yesterday said, "You know what's going on? It's so stupid," and which it is. But the first thing I thought of was when we were kids. You know, we used to do the same kind of stupid stuff. So it's, I don't know. You can't say if the guys are doing it maliciously or not. But it's probably just some youngsters or teenagers going out there, not knowing that they could be doing something really potentially hazardous to the rider's health. The guys are crashing on the descent and coming off at 60, 70 k an hour again. It's going to cause problems. Guys breaking collarbones, which they did yesterday. So it's, in that sense, it's definitely not a good thing, but I don't think the guys are doing it obviously in a malicious way, but it's definitely not something that you want done at a bike race.
Knickknacks?
Robbie, a lot of people are saying this race is one of the most vulnerable yet. The races are vulnerable, the guys that are racing in it. And a lot of the tourists, you can see when you're watching the Tour de France, they either run in front of the cyclists or they touch them or they bump them or they, it causes a lot of crashes. Can they not do anything about that?
Honestly, no, they can't. I mean, that's one of the things that people actually love about cycling is that the fans can pretty much get up close and personal to
Sorry, Rob, we just want to ask if you can just find a better spot there. Your signal's a little bit iffy today. I don't know if you're in your normal spot there at home. There we go.
You guys hear me now?
Closer to that tower.
There we go.
Looks a lot better. That's better.
Okay. Yeah, so like I say, that's one of the things about the sport that the fans and stuff really love about it is that that they can get really up close and personal to the athletes because there's not many other sports out there that the athletes get in actual personal contact with the fans. I mean, football, everyone are in the stands and they just get to watch them from afar. Whereas with cycling, it's so different. You can you're pretty much on the side of the road, you're within a meter or half a meter of the race itself, and that's what makes cycling so special. Obviously, it does become an irritation, and sometimes it actually becomes a hazard to the riders or even the fans on the side of the road, where people have actually been struck by riders coming past, or whatever the case may be, and people have been hurt. But one of the biggest problems is that cycling is held over great distances. I mean, you've got stages that are anything up to 250 kilometers. So if you're going to try and bury a 250 kilometer stretch of road, you've got to have a lot of barriers to get that done. So it's not a feasible thing. That's why normally, the first maybe 2-3 kilometers of the stage are barriered off, and then possibly the last 5 kilometers of the stage are barriered off. To do it the whole way of the race is almost impossible to do.
And that's the magic of the Tour de France. I mean, probably the favorite part of the tour is watching those winding climbs up the mountains, up the Alps and the Pyrenees. And those sort of narrow little avenues the cyclists have with all those people on either side, as
it's like Nicole a religion,
saying, running up and down the road, the messages written on the road. That's the magic of the race.
And people love it. I mean, they go up on the sides of the mountain passes and they spend, sometimes
they camp
a full 24 hours up on the mountain. So
some people never come off.
Guys go to trains and like I say, by the time the cyclists come around, the guys have had a lot of drinks, they've had a lot of fun, and so sometimes it does get a bit wild and whatnot. But at the end of the day, those are images that make the Tour de France so special. People look at it and they say, yes, look at the people, they're having a lot of fun, and that's what makes people want to go to the race and actually follow it on the side of the road. So that's really one of the attractions that that makes the Tour so special.
Yeah. All right, where does it leave the race now after the weekend, the carpet tax stuff and everything? Or what else was happening, Johnny? Something else went down?
Yeah, Darren, Bradley Wiggins basically needed a bike change, I believe, just to be at the change of today's 15th stage. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, look, it's still nothing special. I mean, everything's going according to plan for the Sky guys. I mean, Bradley's got a firm hold on the yellow jersey with 2 minutes of his teammate Chris Froome. So on a stage like today, definitely nothing's going to happen as far as they're concerned. And tomorrow's a rest day. And then thereafter, you've got a couple of mountain stages in the Pyrenees where if anything's going to happen to Wiggins, it's going to be there. The climbs in the Pyrenees are normally steeper than the Alps, so which means they're not as long, but they're harder.
Yeah.
And he's normally a rider who doesn't handle the really hard climbs so good. The long ones that are steady, he's really good at, like the Alps, where he performed, fantastically. I think if anywhere they can put pressure on a guy like Wiggins, it's going to be now in the Pyrenees and the couple stages after the rest day tomorrow.
Just out of interest, how much is a new bike that you guys race with? How much do one of those go for? Rands wise,
you're probably looking at about 150,000, 170,000 rand.
And how many bikes do you travel with when you do the tour?
Well, my team took along this year. I'm trying to think. Probably at the start of the tour, there was at least 5 bikes each rider.
So you're looking at 750,000
Some
rand.
guys, Wiggins would probably have more because he's a particular guy. He's got a yellow bike now, so throw in extra 2 yellow bikes. He's probably got close on 10 bikes.
The house, the house I went to school in Linden.
Say again?
The house when I went to school in Linden, the house that we lived in. I think my folks bought in 1970 or something.
Was it 4th or 6th Avenue? I'm not
9th Street.
9th Street.
You went there, John.
Yes,
Remember,
I know.
you climbed
Yes,
the fence, got bitten by the new guy's dog.
Yes, it was weird.
The house that I lived in growing up cost my parents 20,000 rand.
Wow.
You riding a bicycle that cost 150,000. Wow.
That's crazy. I mean, and the thing that happened is a lot of equipment that does get damaged as well. I mean, in one stage in the tour, up until the stage that I pulled out of, the amount of equipment that my team had gone through because of the crashes and broken wheels and broken bikes and stuff was probably close on, if I remember correctly, it was probably close on R1 million worth of equipment that was basically now in the dustbin. So it's a bit of a hazard sometimes, and it's one of the things that does happen. But I mean, the bicycles and equipment for cycling itself is quite expensive, and it's probably one of the things why cycling doesn't take off on a level like football or anything like that, because it's quite an expensive sport to get into and maintain.
Does your bike have a pool?
I wish it did.
Okay.
But it is like a home. You always
doesn't
on
even
it.
have a swimming pool, and it's 150,000 rand. How's that a pool?
Exactly. I wish it. Well, I tell you what. The only good thing about it is I didn't have to pay for it. So
there we go.
the day that I have to pay for a bicycle that costs that much, it's probably the day I'm going to stop riding. So.
Gee. And how many bikes do you get, by the way? I mean, because I know your team guys are traveling. They've got about 3, 4, or 5 bikes on the back. Obviously, not all yours. They're team bikes. How many bikes do you go to a tour with?
Yeah, like I said, the tour throughout the season, I'll probably have close on 8, 9 bikes throughout the season.
R1 million worth of bikes.
I'm taking about 5 plus the time trial bike, so not too many.
Yeah, wow.
Simon?
Robbie, nice to see that sportsmanship. It seems to be alive and well in the tour. Just getting back to the tax with Wiggins waiting for Evans and the other guys to rejoin the pack. Could have gained an advantage, I suppose, if he'd wanted to.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, when there's a lot of unfortunate incidents like that at the tour, I mean, nobody really wants to take advantage of anybody who, who's had a misfortune like that. I mean, for someone to attack, when there's been a problem, it really doesn't go down well with the other guys in the group. I mean, if you want to try and win the race and you win because you're the strongest, that's great. But if someone attacks at a moment where someone's had a problem or a crash, especially if it's the real leaders of the race, like the top 4 or 5 riders in the classification, and someone attacks, then it doesn't go well. It doesn't go down too well with the rest of the group. And normally, if someone does that, they kind of get back into the group, and there's a lot of things said, and kind of gets settled behind the scenes pretty much. And hopefully, the guy never does it again.
All right, now tell us, with this into the final stage of the race, okay, and you say the only time really that, I mean, and we've seen this before, so it's not a new thing, but the only time really anyone's going to have a go at overturning Wiggins' 2-minute lead is if they do attack him in the Pyrenees. Now, the big scenario, once again, I know we discussed it with Phil Liggett, and we've discussed it before, I think, with you as well. Both the same team. You had a slightly different opinion about whether Froome is under team orders or whether he can have a go at winning the race. Now that they're first and second, and Chris has got 2 minutes to haul in, he sees a chance in the Pyrenees. Does he have a go, or does he basically help his teammate?
If it was, it's a difficult scenario because Chris is contracted to them for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you don't want to cause a situation where you're going to have problems in your working environment for the next 3 years. In saying that, Chris, I truly believe Chris is the stronger climber in the race compared to Wiggins. Wiggins is the stronger trialist, so if he gets to the last time trial with an advantage, he's definitely in the race. If he cracks in the Pyrenees and they have Chris Froome wait for him and someone else takes advantage of that, then Sky's possibly going to lose the whole race in general. So it's not an easy situation for Chris. I mean, he obviously knows he's climbing stronger than Bradley, but he's got a good couple of years on the team, and like I say, you don't want to be causing too many problems right now. I mean, obviously, if you win the Tour de France, it is something that possibly only comes around once or twice in your life, and there's not many people who can do that. Not everybody is a Lance Armstrong or an Alberto Contador, and then with guys like Contador who can come back next year, even though he's disqualified right now. But if he comes back next year and proves to be the strongest rider in the world, then a guy like Chris who's about the future wanting to win the Tour, it's not going to be easy when he gets back. So I think if there's a chance for him to really win the Tour, it should be this year. But again,
Sorry, Rob, you've moved. We're kind of losing you badly there. I don't know if you can maybe just repeat that last part there. Okay, seems to be a lot better.
I'm saying that, I mean, obviously with Alberto Contador coming back into the fold next year again, that it's not going to be as easy as it is this year. Alberto's a really strong contender for the Tour and always will be because of the way he can climb and the way he can time trial. So if I was Chris Froome, I'd really think about the possibility of winning the Tour, because it's not that if he says, okay, the team has to race for him and they all agree to that next year, that he's going to end up with the yellow jersey. I mean, if Contador comes back and he really is the strongest rider in the climbs like he has proved in the past, he could end up riding for second place. He might be the team leader on Sky, but he could end up being second place to Contador. So those are things that if I was him, I'd be thinking about, because to win the Tour de France is something that possibly only happens once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Going to be very interesting. It's still a lot of scenarios that offer themselves in this final week of the Tour de France, and hopefully we can get another chat in sometime, maybe just as we get into post-Pyrenees time, and to see how things lie there. Rob?
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I'm around pretty much for the next week at least while I'm watching the Tour at home. So yeah,
awesome.
No problem, guys. We can chat anytime.
Thanks, Robbie.
Louis. I'm busy reading a tweet here. Robbie, sorry. A guy named Louis wants to know what's the screaming in the background. Is someone swinging a cat around the room? It's your kids, eh?
Kids.
That's a baby.
It seems like it, yeah. And sometimes I feel like I want to swing them around the room, but no.
All right.
Just to keep carrying on causing a ruckus.
All right. That's the Hunter family there. Rob at home in Switzerland, and remember you can follow Rob's blog. Just give us the details again, where people can read up on your daily updates on your thoughts on the Tour.
Just go check it up on the Helivac WordPress website. So you can just Google that and you'll find it straight away.
Awesome stuff, Rob. We'll chat to you later this week, okay?
Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Okay, boss.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Robbie.
Bye. There we go. That's Rob Hunter joining us on Skype. Sorry about the link once or twice. I think he was just trying to get away from the family noise so he could chat to us, and we almost lost him there. Maybe we'll chat to him.
We the best on 3. 1, 2, 3. We the best.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on balls.co.za. Balls.co.za.